Hi, my name is Aya, you're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to do my September TBR. So as always, I'm going to be using the TBR jar, and as always in these last couple of months, I am still not out of my reading slump. So I know I did a TBR for August. I don't think I've read any of them, but who cares? I'm still going to do one for September. September has some great new releases coming out that I'm very excited about, which if you want to know what those are, the next video I'm going to upload is going to be my September most anticipated new releases. So at the end of my TBR, I'll tell you the two that I'm the most excited about that hopefully I can get to in September. But let's get started. I usually do 5 challenges. We'll see if I'm gonna do 5 for this video. Let's get started. This challenge. Okay, it's like the TBR jar is helping me out here because it is a werewolf slash shifter romance, which, as you guys know, that is my favorite supernatural creature. So let me see. I don't really want to repeat books I've already talked about in other TBRs, so let me see which ones I haven't mentioned yet. Okay, so the 2 I was debating about, I already mentioned in other TBRs. So let me see. I'm gonna go for Heart Song by TJ Klune. This is the 3rd book in the Green Creek series, which this one I did talk about in a previous TBR. I think it was May's TBR, but obviously I still haven't got around to it. This is a series I really love. The 1st book is one of my favorite books of all time. So I do think this will help me getting out of my reading slump. Although I do have to say, I do read these books very slowly and they are predominantly very sad. So I don't know if it will help me with my reading slump, but it's September, werewolf season is upon us, or at least like paranormal creature season is upon us. And this obviously does remind me very much of fall. So I'm just gonna pick this one. And I love the covers of these and this color especially. I love, like, green is my favorite color, so all good vibes for this pick. Oh yeah, I didn't even tell you what this is about. Basically, the Green Creek series follows this pack of werewolves. All of them are male-male romances. This book, it's basically a direct sequel of the other 2, so I cannot really tell you a whole lot about it. All I can say is that it follows Kelly Bennett, who is part of that werewolf clan, and also Robbie Fontaine, and he joined the pack in the 1st book. So they've been circling around each other in the 1st and 2nd book. So I've been very much anticipating their romance and hopefully I'll love it. And like I said, the 1st book is one of my favorite books of all time. These books are very long though, because this is just over 500 pages, but I love TJ's writing style in these books. It's very poetic, but kind of like messy, I guess. I just love it. This used to be indie published and they got picked up by a traditional publisher. So this book technically didn't, like this hardcover book technically didn't come out too long ago, so I'm very excited to read it. The next challenge, this one. Okay. Read Elisa Kleypas. So she's slowly becoming one of my favorite authors. Well, she technically is, because I've given almost every single book by her 5 stars. And I'm supposed to continue on with her like backlist. And I already read the Wallflower series and Hathaway. So the next series is going to be the Ravenels, starting with Cold Hearted Rake. So this is a start of a new series, but since this is the 3rd in a series that's connected. Wait, give me just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I just realized I found it to be a little bit dark in here, and I realized that I've only had one light on behind the camera, but not my regular light. So I just turned those on. Moving on. Basically, this series is interconnected because you do see the kids of characters from, I believe, the Wallflowers, and I'm 100% sure that the devil from the Wallflowers, his children have a couple books in this series, so very excited. But this book, however, follows Devon Ravenel, and he's a charming rake, but he just inherited an earldom. But with that come the widow of the earl and the earl's sisters. And then, of course, he falls in love with the widow. I haven't heard the best things about the 1st book. People like it, but it's definitely not their favorite. But I have heard great things about the other books in the series, especially the later ones. But I actually own one of them, Devil in Spring, because I absolutely love the cover. Let me actually grab it. So I actually own it in hardback because I love this cover so much, and I'm so glad I could snag a hardback. With historical romances, they usually get published in mass market paperbacks. They only release the hardcovers for a couple books and then only for a limited amount of time. So I'm glad I own this one. But yeah, obviously I'm not gonna start with this one. I'm gonna start with Cold Hearted Rape, and hopefully I'll love it. And if not, I'm gonna continue on with this series anyway. Next, this one. Continue a book series started before 2015. All right. So that obviously means I'm gonna have to reread the book, I guess. Let me see. I have one that I've been meaning to read. So let me see if I actually started it before 2015. No, I started this one in 2016. Okay, let me see which, let me look at my series spreadsheet. Well, technically there's only one I should pick. There's only two I could pick, actually. One is The Mortal Instruments, and the other one is Blood of Eden, the first book being The Immortal Rules. So obviously I'm gonna go for The Mortal Instrument. Let me grab the book I'm supposed to be reading. City of Fallen Angels. So I'm not gonna be rereading the first trilogy because I've done that a couple times already and it hasn't propelled me into continuing on. What I am going to be doing, however, is watching extensive recaps for the first three, and I do remember a lot of it. The plan, however, was to reread Clockwork Angel before reading this one, so I could read them in order of publication date, and also it would compel me to continuing on with the Mortal Instruments because The Infernal Devices is one of my favorite trilogies, so it's like a carrot to keep me going. So I'm not sure if I can get around to this one. So either I'm going to be reading this one or rereading Clockwork Angel. Obviously, The Mortal Instruments is a very, very popular and beloved series. It's also a very old one. This one came out in 2011. And this is already the fourth book. So obviously they've been around for a while. I'm not going to tell you what it is about because I feel like you should already know. But yeah, hopefully I can get around to it. And if not, hopefully I can get around to Clockwork Angel at the very least. I want an exciting prompt. Okay. Okay, I wanted an excited prompt and I got one. Random book rec list recommended between 15 and 20 times. Okay, so I'm gonna do a screen recording. So my book recommendations list is this list where anytime somebody recommends a book on BookTube or on Instagram, it gets added into my Google Doc. And anytime somebody else recommends that book, it gets moved up a spot. I don't know how many books are on here, but it is a lot. Okay, so let me go. It said between 15 and 20 times recommended, right? Okay. Let me see. Okay, preferably I want to read a book that I already own. So those will be the bold ones. So let me see. Let me actually start with 20 and then move my way down. And let me actually just pick ones that are intriguing right now. Okay, out of those, nothing is really calling to me. Maybe Games with the Orc. Okay, let me see if that is an option. Okay, 19. A Lot's Away is one that got chosen the last time I did this prompt or a similar prompt. So I'm not gonna pick that one. Okay, so there's not a lot of romances here. Maybe I should look at the ones I don't already own, but we'll see. Okay. Before We Were Strange, The Ones Who Got Away, Knife of Never Letting... Whoa, why Knife of Never Letting Go? That is an old book. Okay. Okay, you know what? Let me look at books I don't already own, and let's see which one. I just want to read a romance. So since the bold one, so technically with romances, I tend to only buy them and then read them straight away because most of them I buy on ebook first. So let me see if there's one that I'm interested in. King sized is one I'm kind of interested in, if it is what I think it is. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for that one, honestly, because it's a novella. And hopefully, once again, it will get me out of my reading slump. Plus, this one is one I've heard so many good things about. So I think I'm just going to go for that one. It's a novella, so it won't cost me much anyway. Yeah, so it's only 70 pages. Like I said, hopefully I'll fly through it. So this is basically a romance between the virgin princess and her bodyguard. And it starts off when he hears her crying in her room and he goes and comforts her. I like Jessica Kane. She's not writing anymore, but usually her books are good if I just want something quick and fast and smutty. So hopefully, and like I said, this is one of hers that a lot of people really love. So, and since her books are so unhinged, I think this will be helpful because this doesn't take place in our world in a contemporary setting. So it might be easier to suspend my disbelief in that case. So let's do one more, the last one. Book I hauled in 2023. Okay. Let me see. Let me think. Okay, so let's look at some book hauls, I guess. I'm gonna go for Gothicana by Rue Nix. So this book I hauled in November of 2023. So it counts. Also, since fall is starting in September, I feel like even if I don't get around to this in September, hopefully I can get around to it in October or November. So it fits the vibe. I think I'm gonna definitely be in the mood for it if I get out of my reading slump finally. So yeah, very excited about this one. So this is a romance, dark academia. This girl who goes to this university and there she falls in love with one of the professors. It sounds, I don't know. I just heard so many good things about this book. It used to be obviously indie published. It got picked up by a traditional publisher. And I just heard from a lot of people that it's a good fall spooky read. So yeah, hopefully I can finally read it this year. So these are, well, technically this is a stand-in for Cold Hearted Rake. But these 4+ King Size by Jessica Kane is my TBR for September. An eclectic mix, but most of them are books that hopefully I will be in the mood for during the fall season, like a dark academia, a werewolf romance, a historical romance. A novella is always a good idea, and then a young adult, old school fantasy or urban fantasy. And then for the new releases, 2 of them I want to talk about. The first one is obviously Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. So this is the second book in the Rose Hill series, the first book being Wild Love, obviously. In this book, you follow a country singer with a recent streak of bad press. And she falls in love with Weston Belmont, who we obviously met in the last book. So basically in the first book, the hero of that book set up this recording studio in Rose Hill, and this country singer is gonna record there and try and get away from the big city. Usually I don't tend to like these kinds of stories with a big celebrity and like a small town boy, or the other way around, like a big celebrity and a small town girl. But it's Elsie Silver. I trust her. I've loved every single book of hers I've read. So hopefully this one will be no exception. And the other one I'm very much looking forward to is Juliet Cross's newest book. This cover is definitely my favorite cover ever. And definitely my favorite cover of 2024. It's The Wraith King, obviously. I don't actually really know what this is about. All I know is that it's a fantasy romance by Juliet Cross, and that is all I needed to know. And it has this gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Okay, basically, this Wraith King, he's ruthless and he's cost the life of a lot of innocent light fae. Una Heartstone wants to stop him, but he wants her. Okay, so let me actually read the first couple of lines. A brutal, bloody war against the ruthless Wraith King has cost the light fae more than innocent lives. Una Heartstone, Princess of Issos, learns the price the Wraith King demands to end the war once and for all, her. In exchange for the safety of her people, she agrees to give her life and her body to her greatest enemy, and he's determined to fulfill his destiny and his god's prophecy. He demands her submission, but when she finally yields, he realizes she's more to him than a priceless weapon. And then there's a traitor in their midst, and she also has powers. I'm very excited about this one. Yeah, those are all the books that I'm planning on reading in the month of September. Definitely let me know in the comments below what are you planning to read this September or this fall season. And I would really love to know your thoughts on the books I'm going to be reading. Which ones should I prioritize and which ones shouldn't I prioritize? Leave all your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're down there, leave me a werewolf or a leaf emoji, whichever floats your boat. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.